As we read on, stocks have had a stellar year so far. In fact, the rally has gotten so heated that some investors are making bets on a big crash once again. We are so tickled to have with us today Dennis Postma. He is out of Defiance. You have written a number of books on investments here in Northwest Ohio. Great to have you here on the Roundtable.
Thanks. I appreciate being here and the opportunity.
I'll tell you what, you are a registered financial consultant, best-selling author, speaker, president of your own business. This has been going well for you over the last decade and a half, but where's your read? Do you agree with some of the articles that are coming out right now that things have been going too well and this stock market's going to have to correct itself?
Well, it is a scary time and exciting time all at the same moment because the stocks are at an all-time high. But one thing you hear is that history repeats itself, and you know, when is that drop going to hit? Nobody really knows.
But this soon? I mean, I know you say history repeats itself, and obviously everybody is still kind of, the bruise has still not healed from 07 and 08.
Yep, and it could happen in a month, it could happen 3 years from now, but the question is, why aren't the banks coming up, and why aren't interest rates starting to increase and things? I think there's something out there that a lot of people are nervous about.
Yeah.
You know, what is going to be the next step?
People's 401ks, if they've been watching them, hopefully they are invested at their place of employment. If they don't work right now, because we know there's still a lot of unemployment out there, are there any suggestions that you give people who maybe they still have a savings, maybe they still have some money out there, and there's no, you know, we've heard over the years, there's no too small amount to get invested. Is that still the mindset?
That is still the mindset, and a lot of people actually ask that question. They say, well, you know, my nest egg is only $1,500 to start a retirement. The thing is, the sooner the better to start a retirement, because accumulation and that compound interest effect takes place. So even if you're starting a self-directed IRA, a Roth IRA with $25, it's better, the sooner you start it, the better.
Yeah.
So
we had this talk before we came out here today. We were talking about interest rates and where those have been over the last couple of years. It's kind of a catch-22 for people who have a mortgage or are looking to refinance their home. It's been a great time to buy, to purchase, to refinance. But for those who have had those, I guess, old school, as we've said, savings accounts, it's just been hellish. I mean, more or less, you're looking at gaining under 1% on your investment, on your money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually, we joke around about it, but it's not too funny to the baby boomers because, you know, when they took out their mortgage originally, their interest rates were really high, and they didn't have money to invest in CDs when CDs were giving great interest. And now that they've paid off their mortgage, now they have money to invest in CDs and safe money vehicles, but those aren't paying any interest now. So it's kind of it's been kind of a raw deal for them. But there are different things out there that they can gain a reasonable rate of return without market risk.
We're going to get into those in just a second. I wanted to show folks, I talked about you being a best-selling author. Take a look, Amazon.com has your books still listed right there. You've got one that's out of print currently, and you said you are retooling that right now. But Retirement You Can't Outlive, and also Avoiding a Legacy Nightmare. These have been bestsellers on Amazon, and you hit #1 for like 4 months straight. Is that correct?
Yep. With this particular Retirement You Can't Outlive, I hit #1.
Why? Why are people, I guess, gravitating toward that book? Why has it been such a success?
Well, it's because the #1 risk right now that retirees face and their fear, actually Allianz Life did a study that actually 61% fear outliving their retirement income more than death. So that's one of the reasons we wrote the book, and that's the biggest fear for retirees and pre-retirees right now.
So kind of like they're wasting their time saving, or, I mean, explain that a little bit by what you're saying, that they're outliving it.
Well, what it is because...
And why?
Well, because of medical advances and whatnot, we're living longer.
Okay.
So we weren't expected to live that long. So what happened is the nest egg that they put back, or depending on their choice of investment, they have put that money back and they're living too long. So actually the study in 2008 by Ernst & Young was that if they retired in 2008 and were 65 years old, they would have to reduce their cost of living by 32% because of the increase in longevity. And so, and actually 7 years from 2008, they would be able to, or they would have to reduce their cost of living by 45%.
Yeah.
because everybody's living longer. So the problem is that's expensive.
People are working longer too, though. They're deciding to, as you said, those who have already started their retirement and decided to get out at age 65, now that's being pushed back to 70, to even later. And I mean, for somebody, I'm 40, and for somebody at my age, and for all of us out there who are in this bracket, that's a daunting idea that I've still got this many years to work before I can scale back a little bit. I mean, another 30 years of work does not sound nice to me. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that agree.
Yeah, and I would agree as well. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the reality?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're doing with your money and what you're doing with your savings, because used to be we could count on pensions, and those are a thing of the past. And what you find out in the book is that you can actually start creating your own pension at as early as my age, as early as 40. You can start creating your own pension and know exactly, I say in the book, that retirement accounts should not be at risk. And that's my opinion. If you want to play in the market and different things like that with money you're not worried about losing, that's fine. But your retirement accounts should not be at risk. And if you put them in something that are going to guarantee you a lifetime income, you're actually setting up your own pension for yourself. So you can say at 40, if I do want to retire early, let's say I still do want to retire at 65, what's my income going to be worth if I put X number of dollars back?
Yeah, we just had a story just within the last week, City of Detroit issuing bankruptcy, obviously, and filing for bankruptcy. You've got some 20,000 city workers who would lose their pensions. We've seen the auto industry drop a lot of pensions. We've seen companies here locally that have dropped pensions. So how easy is it? You just explained it a little bit, but if this is resonating with somebody at home and they're like, man, I need to do that, how easy is it?
It's very easy to do, and the nice thing about it is with today's products, opposed to what they were in the past, used to be you would be giving up a lot if you would set up your own pension through like what they call a SPIA, which is a single premium immediate annuity. That means if you get your paycheck for life, that's great, but if you die early, the insurance company gets your money. Now they have products to where there's advantages to that as well. If you you move your self-directed IRA into a product like this, you get a monthly income at retirement or a yearly income. That's actually free to do, and there's a small fee to set that up, but other than that, there's no other charges involved.
Yeah, so, is it just, I guess, being kind to say there's no, there's no late point to get invested? Or it's never too late to get invested? I mean, is that just somebody saying that to just say it, or is that true?
No, I would definitely say it's true. I mean, it's
or
always.
Is there just, if you think it is too late, you should do something else?
No, I definitely think it is never too late to get started. In fact, even talking with my grandparents and talking with people, one of the biggest hurdles that they have is they say, well, the book isn't going to help me. I'm already retired, or that would have been great 5 years ago. Well, that's not actually the truth. The truth is at any time you could take yourself from a riskier perspective or something that you're in that's risky, or something that's in CDs that's not giving you as much interest, and put it into a safe money strategy that's earning better than average return, but it's also protected from the market. And if the market goes up, you actually can take part in those gains.
Yeah.
So
hopefully folks are taking notes at home. If not, grab a piece of paper and a pen, because, or type it out. I know paper and pen is kind of archaic these days. Yeah. But we talked about savings mentality, and you and I were talking about, I grew up hearing from my folks that, by the way, Dennis Postma joining us. I want to be sure to get that plug out there, registered financial consultant with Postma Insurance and Investments out of Defiance. We had talked about that older mentality. I'm not calling my parents old. I'm just saying days ago, they were telling me, get a savings account. And as we said, interest rates are terrible right now. The dollar is not in a good spot right now, but what is the better idea? If somebody's out there listening and they have a savings account and they're not happy with earning 1% on their money, what could be a quick changeover? What should they look to?
Well, and we often say that liquidity comes at a risk, and it really does, because if you're going to be in a savings account, money market, or even a CD, you're going to get a lower rate of return. So there are options as far as fixed annuities pay a lot better rate of return. There are some now that have return of premium options, and what that means is if you talk to a couple folks, they'll say, well, I don't want to invest my money into a CD for 5 years because I might get that 0.8% for 5 years.
Yeah.
What if the market comes back? then I'm locked in for 5 years at
You want to have
0.8.
access to that money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now they have products out there that are paying over 2%. That's a 5-year product with a fixed annuity that has what they call return of premium feature. So what that means is if you go into it a year and all of a sudden interest rates peak and they're up to 4, 5, 6%, you can pull it out without any penalties at all or any market loss.
Yeah.
So there are vehicles out there, and there's other vehicles that actually get better than fixed rates, and there aren't risk in fixed annuities and fixed index annuities.
Dennis, stay right there. We're going to go to our first break talking with Dennis Postma. He's a best-selling author on Amazon.com. You'll want to stick around. We've got more to come. Talking about your money investments here in 2013, the year halfway over, but not too late to get that money invested. He's got a retirement book there, Retirement You Can't Outlive. Once again, a bestseller on Amazon.com. Stay with us.